Sit down. We're not that far yet. And and now there's a new player in the game. And this new player is gonna change everything and make his friends drop the idea that suffering is caused by sin. It's a punishment from God. Instead of considering different viewpoints, they want to cling to that. And this young person has a completely different view of what's going on. Now, at my house, that young person is named Norway. Norway, she really does have a photographic memory. She forgets nothing. And she reminds me of this all the time. If I say, let's do this. Grandma, you said on this day at this time we were going to do this instead. Okay? And if I say something wrong, well, Grandma, remember last week in the sermon you said this? I'm like, nope, don't remember that. She corrects me all the time. I'll hold it down. She corrects Dan way more than me. And she knows everything. We were watching something stupid, Legally Blonde. Remember that dumb show, movie, Legally Blonde? So we're watching Legally Blonde 2 because she wanted to watch it. And it's when the person goes to court to protect the animals from whatever cruelty. Norway paused the TV and built her case. I would present this case to the court. I would say this, 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 and this, and I would win. Animals are mammals. That's cruelty. You can't test it on animals. You can't test it on people. And she had this whole case built at the age of 9. 9. So this younger person's going to step in with Job today and help him out. So let's get started. Chapter 32. So the 3 men stopped answering Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. But Ehud, the son of Parakal, the Buzite of the family of Ram, became very angry with Job, justifying himself rather than God. Job 4, He was also angry with the 3 friends because they had found no way to refute Job, and yet they condemned him. Now Ehud had waited before speaking to Job because they were older than he. But when he saw that the 3 had nothing more to say, his anger was aroused. So Ehud, the son of Barak, the kid, said, I am young in years and you are old. That is why I was fearful, not daring to tell you what I know. Problems right out of the gate. He's fearful to speak. The conversation between Job and his friends has officially stopped because they ran out of things to say. They give up. It would have been Zophar's turn to talk, the friend, because they're going in cycles. But for some reason, he decides to be quiet. Again, something else that doesn't happen in my house. It's going to be quiet. So enter this young man who had been listening to the debate between Job and his friends. He's coming. While Job's 3 friends, I'm going to trip everything. While Job's 3 friends believed he was suffering because he was being punished, Ehud said Job's sufferings would not go away until he realized and repented of his sin. Ooh, did you catch that? He points out that Job's attitude had become arrogant. He was arrogant, defending his innocence in front of God. He was being very prideful. I'm innocent. I know I am. And Ehud says, this is the problem. This is the problem. And he's urging Job to look at his suffering from a different perspective, one with greater purpose in mind. Because if I stand up in here and tell you how awesome I am and how horrible you are, I'm prideful. I'm sinning, period. That's what Job is being accused of here, which is eye-opening to all of us because we didn't see this before. And we needed a young person to point it out, that maybe you are doing something wrong. So let's keep going, 7 through 9. I thought age should speak, advanced years should teach wisdom. But it is the Spirit in the person, the breath of the Almighty, that gives them understanding. It's not only the old who are wise, not only the aged who understand what is right. When you get older, because I'm the oldest person in the room, again, you get stuck in your ways. You get stuck in your thinking. And he's saying in defense of their age, he kept quiet. He didn't say anything because I need to respect my elders. Please don't do that. Don't respect me. I'm old, but I say dumb stuff a lot. You can save it too, because you catch me all the time. Age does not equal wise. No. God can give insight to anyone he chooses. There's a podcast for the district. I'm not sure if you're listening to it or not, but the DS is interviewing mostly younger pastors. And I don't mean just younger in age. I mean newer pastors. There hasn't been one he interviewed so far that has been a pastor for very long. He's putting out the younger people, the younger view of church, how to do it, what's working for us. Next week, I think, is my turn. I'll let you know. It won't be very good, but he's not asking any of the old pastors. And I say old because we have a lot of good old boys on the district. And the good old boys are very stuck in their ways. There's only one way to do things. So that's why I appreciate it when you guys throw something new out there. Correct me. Challenge me. Challenge me. Still waiting. Challenge me. In James chapter 1, verse 5, it says clearly, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God. It doesn't say old people, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. All we have to do is ask. The hardest thing we can do is ask. Because we're too afraid. We are just too afraid to ask because we're not really paying attention to him unless we need something. Should I push it? Wisdom from God relates to life even in the worst times of our lives. God's wisdom is over everything. Only such divine wisdom should enable believers like us to be joyous and submissive during the trials of life. Life is not going to be pretty. Okay? It's not going to be comfortable. It's just going to be what it is. If you're like me, and you beat your body up chasing the carrot called retirement, you deserve every ache and pain you have. I'm pushing it because that's me. I decided to wear tennis shoes last night because I couldn't get my sandals on, my slides, what do you call those things? Because my foot was swelled too much. This morning, I had to take my tennis shoes off because I couldn't wear those either. But I'm retired. I got what I wanted. I got to retire. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Life is not going to be pretty. And every time I can't walk, I still have to praise God that my feet don't preach. Okay? We have a big chair upstairs, a really big one that I can sit on. I can sit on a chair here and preach. I don't need to walk. Walking's overrated. But I can have wisdom because I can ask for it. Let's keep going. Verse 10. This is going to be bad. Therefore, I say, listen to me. I too will tell you what I know. Remember, this is the kid. I waited while you spoke. I listened to your reasoning. While you were searching for words, I gave you my full attention. But not one of you has proved Job wrong. None of you has answered his arguments. All Job's friends were doing was filling the air with empty words. Their arguments were just, I'll read it right off the paper here. Their arguments were just words being vomited out at Job. They meant nothing. Nothing. And now this young kid is explaining the valuable insight he has in the situation. We need to understand that even if we're all in the same room, all of us are going to hear something different. You're going to pick something else out that nobody else is hearing in the sermon. Job's friends wouldn't listen. The young man was listening. He's paying attention. Now, 13 through 15. Do not say we have found wisdom. Let God, not a man, refute him. But Job has not marshaled his words against me, and I will not answer him with your arguments. They are dismayed, and they have no more words to say. Words have failed them. He's telling these friends that they have no clue what they're doing. And he recognizes the limits of human understanding. True wisdom comes from God, not from age or experience or theological systems. Theological systems. I know a lot of people who think they're really book smart. And we go over this one a lot. We had a pastor, he was really smart. He was still going to school for 20 years, working on something. And he thought he was the smartest person in the room. I'm trying not to say anything else. He was not. Let's put it that way. He would take the Bible and read it to you and tell you what to do with it. And that he would do the opposite. It wasn't practiced in the household. It was, you need to do this. You need to do that. I'm going to do what I want. The theological system. I heard this from someone last night. I don't have to worry about God's wrath. Because first, I'm Jewish. And second, Jesus died for me. So I don't have to worry about anything. Like, tip my mirror. That is wrong. That's a theological system that you got wrong. Now, people tend to admire three things about others. They admire their wisdom. They admire their power, and they admire their riches. But God outwits a higher power. It is a higher power, rather. He far outweighs, his wisdom is more important than anything I could ever say, anything I could ever do, and anything I could ever buy. He's got this. Okay? And when we know him personally, we live a life that reflects his priorities, not ours. It reflects his love for other people. So this young man is the closest thing that Job is going to see of God. I'm stumbling this morning. I apologize. Job's friends believe they have all the wisdom they need, but it has gotten them nowhere. We all know these people who can tell you everything about everything and know nothing. I had a daughter-in-law like that. She knew everything. Never had a job. Never went to school. Never did anything, but knew everything. And she would tell you everything you're doing wrong. Job's friends, right here. Now, I want to keep going 16 through 22. Must I wait now that they are silent, now that they stand there with no reply? I too will have my say. I too will tell them what I know. For I am full of words, and the spirit within me compels me. Inside, I am like bottled up wine, like new wineskins ready to burst. I must speak and find relief. I must open my lips and reply. I will show no partiality, nor will I flatter anyone. For if I were skilled in flattery, my Maker would soon take me away. Think about that. If I were skilled in flattery, if I could just tell you what you wanted to hear. Well, because he is compelled to speak, sometimes all of us get to this point where we can't keep our mouths shut any longer and we're ready to explode, that we have to say something. And that's the time that Dan drags me out of the meeting. That sounds funny, but there are some times I just cannot hold it in one more second. I know I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to bite my tongue, keep my mouth shut. And Dan will go, shut up, don't do it, don't do it. And he'll grab my hand, and then I know it's like, okay, let's go. We have to go, sorry. But I can't stand it. I have to say something. This is so wrong, it's so unfair. Nope, shut up, shut up. And that's how I know how much he loves me. He tells me to shut up. Shut up. For your own good, shut up, don't say it. But now this young man, he says, I'm not going to impress any of you. I'm just going to tell you what I know straight up. And sometimes he lets me do that. Not very often, but sometimes he lets me. The end. But all of us have been in that situation. I wasn't pointing because I was stretching my arm, not pointing. Been in the situation where we have put up with enough that if one more person talks, I'm going to snap. Okay? I don't care how old you are, the two giggles, same thing. We're just going to snap. And this is where we're at right now. The turning point in Job, he's going to snap. Let's start chapter 33. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble. The young man says, "But now, Job, listen to my words. Pay attention to everything I say. I'm about to open my mouth. My words are on the tip of my tongue. My words come from an upright heart. My lips sincerely speak what I know. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. Answer me then if you can stand up and argue your case before me. I am the same as you in God's sight. I too am a piece of clay. No fear of me should alarm you, nor should my hand be heavy on you." When somebody tells me, pay attention to everything that I say, I usually stop listening. Because pay attention, everything. Now that I stop. But he's telling them, pay attention. The words I'm speaking to you, that I'm sharing with you, are sincere. They're the truth. They're the Spirit of God working through me. And he tells Job to please stand up. Argue against me. If you've got something to say, present your case. If you're not going to do that, then stay quiet. He tells him he's a man just like him, that all of us are made out of clay. And he's serving as Job's spokesperson before God. And Job can make his defense if he chooses to, if he wishes without fear of divine wrath. But Job is not saying a word. Job has been through this for so long with his friends, talking down to him and being just a horrible support system. Now this young man wants to, and Job isn't sure how to react. Okay, 8 through something. We'll find out. But you have said in my hearing, I heard the very words. I am pure. I have done no wrong. I am clean and free from sin. Yet God has found fault with me. He considers me his enemy. He fastens my feet in shackles. He keeps close watch on all my paths. But I tell you, in this, you are not right, for God is greater than any mortal. Why do you complain to him that he responds to no one's words? For God does speak, now one way, now another, though no one perceives it. In a dream, in a vision of night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds. He may speak in their ears and terrify them with warnings, to turn them from wrongdoing and keep them from pride, to preserve them from the pit, their lives from perishing by the sword. This is a very intelligent young man. He's got a lot to say. That God speaks to us differently is very important. And he rebukes, he corrects Job's innocence. For saying he's absolutely innocent of everything and blaming God. Catch that? He's blaming God for his unjust treatment. Blaming God, doubting God because he's not listening, prideful, arrogant. Last week, Job was just a wreck. He was innocent. Not so much anymore, huh? Like us. God, why is this happening? What are you letting this happen for? I'm righteous. I don't do anything wrong. Job, you are sinning. You have to understand that God is greater than any human and will not offer a detailed report to any of us of how he deals with us. Not at all. He does speak to believers, though, all the time, through his word. You familiar with that? We talked about this in Sunday school. Some of you have one of these, but it's really dusty because it's not open, ever. Crack it open once in a while. He speaks to us through his word. It does me all the time. because he corrects me a lot. He speaks to us during prayer and quiet times. But a lot of us don't like to be in silence. Quiet scares us. It scares us for some reason. But God has to warn us against the evil that we let into our lives. We could take a box of rat poisoning and eat 99% of it and not get hurt. Only 1% of rat poison is poison. It'll kill you. 1%. But the other 99 is just filler. We let all that into our lives thinking it's completely innocent. Not the rat poison, but all the sins into our lives thinking we're okay. And that one's going to get us. He wants to warn us of our pride. Because a lot of us are really prideful about the dumbest things. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Ladies, jewelry. We love to talk about our jewelry. We love to show our jewelry off. Shoes. Purses. You guys are all innocent with this one. It's just, we love our stuff and proud to show it off. My mentor, Judith, gave me an ordination gift, and I shared this with some of you already. When she worked, she dressed as Wonder Woman. Shut up. She dressed as Wonder Woman for Halloween. And I have a picture of her dressed in her outfit. When I worked, I had a statue, a Wonder Woman statue on my shelf in the office. But my manager, Dean, would come in and put it on my computer, right in front of me. So I had lunch with Judith on Thursday, and she brings me this gigantic gold box, red, white, blue ribbon. It was huge. I'm like, what is this? And she goes, I got you the only gift I could think about getting you for your ordination. All right, I start tearing it open. I got a Wonder Woman tiara with a gold star on it. I got a cape, a full-length Wonder Woman cape that I'll wear here one day. I have a Wonder Woman t-shirt and blue pants with white stars all over them. I got to get a pair of red shoes so I can dress as Wonder Woman. It was the best, okay? But when I come in here in my Wonder Woman outfit, I'll be so full of pride that you guys should knock me down. Please, knock me down. Because it was such a simple, goofy gift. But it was so cool. And I was so happy about it. She goes, I forgot to get you the bracelets. I'm going to order the bracelets and get you a gold robe so you can be Wonder Woman. And again, I will be so full of pride when I wear that, someone's going to have to correct me. I will be definitely sinning because I'm like, oh, look at me. But God warns us about this stuff, and we don't listen. Now, let's keep going to 19 through something, I don't know. Or someone may be chastened on a bed of pain with constant distress in their bones, so that their body finds food repulsive. Oh, that's not me. Their body finds food repulsive, and their souls loathe the choicest meals. Their flesh wastes away to nothing, and their bones, once hidden, now stick out. They draw near to the pit, and their life to the messenger of death. Yet if there is an angel at their side, a messenger, one of 1,000 sent to tell them how to be upright. And he is gracious to that person and says to God, spare them from going to the pit. I have found a ransom for them. I want to hear spare them from the pit. I got a ransom for them. I really do. And Ehud's point here is that God has spoken again and again to Job. He spoke through dreams and visions and angels, and the Lord also speaks through pain and serious illness. But God already knew this. He's accusing Job of not listening to God. But that wasn't true either. Just like us, we only listen to things we want to hear. Okay. Thank you. What? We don't pay attention. We don't listen unless it's important to us. And that's a tough one also, because now we're putting ourselves above other people because we're not listening. And God was speaking to Job all along. And Job was listening to his friends. He wasn't listening to God at all. He had given up listening to God, remember? But we need to pay attention. Like I said, I hurt all the time. I'm getting really old. You can say it. I'm getting really old. And the older I get, the more aches and pains I have. So I have to praise God when I can't walk, when I can walk, when I'm in so much pain, I got to put more pain patches on. Yesterday, I told you I watched them load the truck. I had 3 pain patches on my shoulder. I didn't do anything. I watched them. But I couldn't move my shoulder. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't anything. But pain patches. I have to find a way to make it through. So I was at the doctor and I said, how many pain patches can I wear at one time? How do you overdose on pain patches? And he went, what? This is while I was still at the store. And I said, well, I go to work in the morning and I tell somebody that I'm be working with all day, or I'll see on and off all day, that I have this many pain patches on. It'd be like 6 pain patches, 3 in each leg, foot, whatever. And I would tell someone, and they would laugh. If I pass out, first take all the pain patches off my legs, then call 911. But you can't overdose on pain patches. Don't do that. The face you made. Okay. God was speaking to me saying, quit being stupid. You don't need to retire at that age at this dollar amount. He's telling me through this pain that I need to pay attention, and I'm ignoring him. Through the pain, he was talking, and I was not listening. For all of us, this happens. Now, let's keep going. 25 through 29. Let their flesh be renewed like a child's. Let them be restored as in their days of youth. Then that person can pray to God and find favor with him. They will see God's face and shout for joy. He will restore them to full well-being. And they will go to others and say, I have sinned. I have perverted what is right, but I did not get what I deserved. God has delivered me from going down the pit. I shall live to enjoy life, the light of life. God does all these things to a person, twice, even 3 times. Over and over. Oh, first story. To turn them back from the pit, that the light of life may shine on them. Now, when we respond to God's voice, we will be restored. It doesn't mean that I'm going to have the body of a 20-year-old, ever. It means that the one who confesses their sins, who is redeemed spiritually, will be saved from that spiritual death. The spiritual death is far more important than our physical death. That's something we need to really wrap our brains around. Because God welcomes us back every time. He never turns his back on us. And sometimes we have to come to this altar every day. For years, come to the altar and not get an answer. We had an older lady, Ruth, who was here years ago. And every Sunday, for years, she would stand up, share her testimony about praying for her husband and her children, her grandchildren, and she would just cry because nobody was here with her. No one. No one ever came with her. And then maybe 2 years before her husband died. So this was like a 20-year prayer for her. Her husband started coming to church. It took that long to get the answer she wanted from God. That I want my husband to come to church. 20 years. We don't want to wait 20 minutes. Because if we were willing to wait 20 minutes, we wouldn't have microwaves or frozen food. We would cook, but we don't do that. We need to pay attention. Okay? 31 through 33. Let's wrap this up. God never turns his back on us. He's there all the time. Pay attention, Job, and listen to me. Be silent, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak up, for I want to vindicate you. But if not, then be silent to me. Be silent, and I will teach you wisdom. Grandma, I'll show you how to do that right. Norway, you're a kid, leave me alone. Oh, Grandma, I know how to do this, you don't. This is exactly where Job is. This young man, Ehud, expresses that he will be on Job's side and wants to be vindicated of all these claims that he thinks are against him, his claims of righteousness. So he gives them the opportunity to speak, and Job does not. Job just continued to listen. And if he didn't continue to listen carefully, he would lose everything he had, his hope, his faith. He's holding on to peace at this point because that's all he's got left. And this young man and his wisdom. Job is finally in a better place. That sounded really strange. But he's now got someone on his side, a physical person he can see because he can't see God, someone he can listen to because he can't hear God. And this kid is there for him. Wisdom, again, knows no age. Doesn't know any age at all. We need to understand that God can work through anyone of any age. He can work through anyone of any belief or not belief. That's an even harder one to understand, that he works through people who say they don't believe. A lot of the ones I work with that tell me they don't believe, they are Christians in pagan clothing. It's pretty simple. They think they're fooling the world. They're not. But again, God can work through anyone. We just need to pay attention. He works through all of our circumstances if we pay attention. Job is learning that he has to start paying more attention. That in his defense of saying, I'm good, he's sinning. In our defense of going, I got this. God, I don't need you. I got this myself. We're sinning. That we are constantly doing this over and over. That we need to work on ourselves. That we need to come to God every day and pour this out, because if we carry it around, it just gets worse and worse and worse. One of the biggest things when I had a job was if one of the ladies at the store got a new ring, all the other ladies had to get a new ring. All of them. And just went this vicious cycle. I shared an office for a couple hours a day with the manager's wife. And I get called into his office so often, I can't even tell you. All right. I say, what? Let me see your ring. What? What? She wants one. Where'd you get it? It would go over, and I'm not joking. And then it was nails. The nails. But it was such a vicious cycle. And again, that's so prideful of us. I got a new ring. I got this. I. It's not important. Our relationship with God is important. Our possessions are not. So we need to really reevaluate this morning. Are we being prideful? Are we sinning against God by saying we're righteous, by believing we're better than we are? I'll be the first to tell you that I'm a sinner. Amen. 100%. But I'm saved by grace. Nothing I can do on my own, period. Because if I do it myself, I'm going to screw it up. So I just need to be honest with God and myself. And that allows me to be honest with you, with everyone. And that's where we need to be. So if someone, next time Norway offers me advice, I'm going to have to take it and not yell at her, because she's younger. And she does have some insight. But I want you to think this morning. Altars are open again, first two pews. As we close in prayer, are you being prideful? Are you being arrogant? Being judgmental? I raise my hand for all of them. God's waiting to hear from you. So, would you bow your heads? Gracious Heavenly Father, once again, we come to your throne of grace to pour out all these things we've been holding in our lives. All of the pet sins we carry around. The ones that we think are okay. But you tell us that a sin is a sin, period, end of story. Help us to realize and identify those sins in our lives. Help us to have someone point out our thinking, because sometimes we think we get stuff really, really wrong. And only you can show us through someone else, through your word, through prayer, what we're doing wrong this time, because it's going to be next time and next time. It's going to be happening over and over. But the closer we get to you, it should be farther and farther between. That we can go for a few days without screwing up, without sinning. And then go a week. It's a tough walk, but we know that you're there with us through everything that we do. And Lord, I just praise you and thank you once again for the work that you're doing in our lives. Each one of us is on a journey, and each one of us is going to stumble, but you're going to be right there to pick us up every single time. And we praise you and thank you for that. That no matter what dumb thing I do today, you're still going to love me. That you're still going to welcome me back when I figure out what I did this time. That you have a plan, a wonderful plan, and a path for me with people that I'm supposed to interact with. Whether I like them or not is not an issue. You put them in my path for a reason. Now I need to do my best to share you with them. That is my goal, to share Jesus with people, to help them in any way I can, to support them, to treat them like people. Because so many times we do not treat each other like people. We are horrible, horrible examples of your love. We need to work on this. We need to be a lighthouse in the broken world we live in for others to see that there's hope for them too. If you can work in my life, you can work in anybody's life. It's that simple. And we need to stop being so quiet about you. We need to tell the world about you, what you've done for us. Our testimony is so powerful, but we keep it so private. Let's start opening our mouths for the Lord and sharing everything he's doing in our lives, everything he has done in our lives, because people need to hear this. It helps them get into a relationship with us. When we're honest with each other, we can get closer to each other. We can pray for each other. We can work with each other, and we can be the light in the world that the world needs to see today. And Lord, I just ask all this in your heavenly name today. We went a little long, but sometimes people need to hear your word the way you want them to hear it. And I just praise you and thank you in your heavenly name. Amen.